Hello everyone, welcome back to the another session in Principles of Programming Languages. Now this is the last topic of 5th unit. We'll be going to cover about all the topics which are related to case study of Python. So when you find this topic in the syllabus book, there will be a few topics which are added to the case study of Python. We'll be going to cover variables and scope of the variables, type of the variables, and abstraction, all these concepts, whatever you find after the case study, that we will be taking one language as our case study. The topics what we covered from the unit 1 to unit 4, that all will be going to experiment on this language. Fine? Right. Now we'll come from the fundamental case, what the language is, to which category the languages belongs, and what are the variables, how to declare a variable, all this kind of things. Let's say that first unit to 4 units, that whatever topics we were seeing, that all topics will be going to experiment on this Python language. That's what we were given this topic as a case study. Now, so let's talk about Python. Python is a language where everybody knows irrespective of their, let's say, age and study. If you are the student, you know Python. If a small child who is going for school and who is having curriculum of Python, they can also learn, say about Python is a familiar language to me. Yes, Python is a familiar language. The reason it is a familiar, because it's having that features. That we'll see what type of features it is having. Now, let's begin with the Python. Python was introduced in 2004. But truly speaking, the first version of Python was there before of Java. Is a relatively recent object-oriented interpreted scripting language. Did you understand? Total 3 things are covered. Python is what object-oriented, Python is what scripting-oriented. So that's what we say, it is a multi-paradigm programming language. And it uses an interpreter. Interpreter means each line will get compiled. So each line will get converted into machine code. And its initial design was by Guido van Ronson. So he is the founder behind of this language. And Python is an open source system and is available for most common computing platforms. The Python implementation is available in www.python.org. So everyone can do their research on this Python versions, and the versions will get updated time to time. From this site we'll use to download it. So that's what, which also has extensive information regarding the Python. So this is about a general information of Python. Let's see about what it contains. Python syntax is not based directly on any commonly used language. It is type checked language but dynamically typed. Right? So when I say it is dynamically typed, we were seeing the same thing in the other programming language, that it is a dynamical typed. What do you mean by dynamical typed? When I have given a data type into it, I do not mention the data type. Based upon the value I have given into the program, based upon the value only, interpreter of particular language will understand the data type of it. That's what the understanding of dynamic typed language. Now instead of arrays, Python includes 3 kind of data structures: list, which are immutable, and tuples, hashes. So list, tuple, hash. So these are what the 3 data structures we use in Python. There is a collection of list methods such as append, insert, remove, and sort. These are what operations what we'll perform on these 3 data structures. So this is about a normal things what we have to understood about Python. Now, so Python as a object oriented includes the pattern matching capabilities of Perl and has exception handling. Even garbage collection is used to reclaim objects when they are no longer needed. Support for CGI programming and form processing in particular is provided by the CGI module. Modules that support cookies, networking, and database access are also available. So this is what the features of Python we say. And Python includes support for concurrency with its threads. So as we don't have Python threads in the syllabus, we do not discuss about it. But basically Python support concurrency with its threads. As well, the way how C# and Java threads are being supported concurrency, the same way it provides concurrency. As well as support for network programming with its sockets. It also has more support for functional programming than other non-functional programming languages. Now, let's understand about how variable can be created in the Python. So, basically, we know about static typed languages that we will mention the data type into the program. But whereas I said Python is a dynamic typed language, hence no data type is required. Based upon the value what we were binding to the variable, interpreter of Python language will come to know the exact data type of that. Now let's see, Python has no command for declaring a variable. A variable is created the moment you first assign a value to it. Let's say x is equal to 5. If I wanted to know the data type of that, we just print that. Now we'll use a command print of x. It prints a value which is 5. If I wanted to know the data type of it, then I'll just give print type of x. With this command, I'm going to know about the data type of x. So data type I do not mention. Though I did not mention the data type, still I can get the data type based upon this value. Because value will get binded into the variable, and as it is dynamical typed language, we can know the data type of it. Y is equal to John. So print y matlab we will get John as your output. When you give print a type of y, you'll see string as your output, because type of x will give you the data type of the variable, print of x will give you the value of it. Now let's see here, variables do not need to be declared with any particular type and can even change type after they have been set. Now let's see, x is equal to 4, x is a type of integer. So this is what dynamical typed. X is equal to the name, x is now typed to string, so I can change it, right? So print of x means we'll get the value of Sally is the value of print. Now let's see about this. If you wanted to specify the data type of a variable, this can be done with the casting. Now x is equal to string of 3, now x will be 3. Y is equal to int of 3, now y will be 3. Z is equal to float of 3, now z will be 3.0. If you wanted to get the type, that was we were discussed in the previous slide, that I can give type of variable command so that I can see the data type of it. Now let's see about a variable can have a short name like x and y, or a more descriptive name. So descriptive way you can write a number of characters into it. So rules for Python variables, these are what the main rules we will follow to create a variable in the Python programming language. A variable name must start with a letter or the underscore or else character. A variable name cannot start with a number. It will be invalid if you do it. A variable name can only contain alphanumeric characters and underscores. Variable names are case sensitive. A variable name cannot be any of the Python keyword. So keeping in mind all these rules of the variable, we just have some names here which are segregated under legal, under illegal. So to make you more clear about Python, we just have my variable is equal to John. It is a legal one because we were not violated the rules of variables what we were seen in the before slide. Now my underscore variable, it can be a valid name. Underscore my var also valid, because a name of the variable can be start with alphabet or else it can start with a underscore. Now it is also valid. It is also valid. Fine. It is also valid because a variable name can be alphanumeric, but it is not valid. A variable name should not start with the numeric number, so it is not valid. And it is illegal because underscore can be given, but there it is given as minus symbol, and it is also not valid because space is given here. So these are what illegal names and legal names what can be used in the Python. And Python allows you to assign values to multiple variables which are x comma y comma z. If I give print x, the first name will be orange, I can see as a printout. Banana will be y name, cherry will be z name. And you can see this also that one name can be given for multiple variables. So print x equal to orange, y orange, z is orange. This is legal and this also legal respective to Python variables. Now, let's look into the variables can store data of different types and different types can do different things. Now, let's understand about this. Python has the following data types built in by default in these categories. Numeric types, integer, float, complex. Sequence types, list, tuple, range. Mapping type, dictionary. Set type, set and frozen set. Boolean type, which is bool. So these are what the basic data types what we will generally have in Python. So x is equal to hello world, which is string. 20 integer, 20.5 float. 1j, it is a complex number. Apple, banana, cherry, it is a list. The way how I am writing this data into the square bracket is list. And tuple is I am using parentheses. So range of 6 is it's a range that to take a range of values. And this curly brackets will give you a dictionary and the curly brackets will give you a set. So we were discussed in the first slide itself. Python will have 4 types of data structure: list, tuple, dictionary, sets. So these are what the things which we have in Python. Now let's see about converting, or else you can say it is a type casting or type correction, type casting. So I can convert one data type to the other data type. Now let's see that x is equal to 1, basically it is what? Integer. 2.8 is floating. 1j is what? Complex. Now if I want to convert a data type from integer to float, I use a is equal to float of x. Now that I am converting a data type from integer to float, or let it be if x is of whatsoever kind of data type, if I wanted to change my x value to float, I have to take this kind of notation. So if it is, if I wanted to change float to integer, I will take this kind of notation. If I wanted to change complex to any other data type, I will mention the other data type over here. Hence I can change from one data type to the other data type. And now let's understand about abstraction. So basically we were discussed about abstraction. Abstraction is what? It is a representation where we'll hide the essential attributes not to get harmed by any other user. This is what actually an abstraction. Yes, Python also support data abstraction. Python also support process abstraction. Now, so let's understand about data abstraction. So basically data abstraction is the process of simplifying complex systems by representing them through abstract data types and exposing a well-defined interface while hiding the underlying implementation details. It's a basic definition of an abstraction. In Python, this is achieved through classes and objects, where the class defines the blueprint for the ADT and object or instances of that class. So this is how Python support data abstraction. Right, now let's see an example how it supports. So here it is a sample code. Now class is what? Bank account. So definition in it, now we are just initializing self account number balance. Self dot account number is equal to account number. So self is what? It is a first parameter to ensure that we were providing data abstraction. Now, so self dot balance equal balance, def deposit, self amount. Now you just understand what we were using here. Now this is what a function, and this is also what a function. Now, so this is what the ADT what I am using to hide essential attributes of this class. Now basically class will consist of this one, def initialization self account number dot balance. Now the way how I have to access is what? Self dot account number, self dot balance. So this is the way how I have to access. Now def deposit self of amount is what? Self dot balance is equal to self dot balance plus amount. Correct? Now, so def withdraw self comma amount is what? Again the accessing of parameter is what? Self dot amount I have to take. Now I can even call self dot balance also. So if amount less than or equal to self dot balance is equal to amount. If it is not, then we'll print it is an insufficient funds. Now, so create instance of the bank account class. So I'm just creating the account 1, bank account, the parameters. So these are what I say instance of the class. Class name is what? Bank account is the class name. So deposit and withdraw the money. So these are what instances of the class, and this is what the class name. With this we'll provide data abstraction. Yes, this is about case study of Python, looking at the features of Python to data abstraction. Thank you all.